Welcome. This is Minutes by Minute, and I'm Elgin Nichols, and
I'm Dave Kenny.
we're going to cover a lot of your council meetings and commissions and find out what kind of regulations and ordinances are being made which will affect you.
That's true. That's ordinance, not ordinance. Ordinance.
Ordinances. More than one.
Ordinances.
Ordinances. Okay, here we go. Let's talk about the Oxford Village Council. Now, you were there, right?
And so were you.
Yes, I was.
You were in a decision-making capacity.
Yes, and we're going to get to that in just a moment.
That's what you said at the meeting.
All right, I did. How did that work out, by the way?
It was inconclusive.
Yeah, right. Okay, so one thing that you'll know a lot about, they talked about the waste collection services proposal.
Mm-hmm.
And what did they say? Do you remember?
No, what did they say?
Okay, well, what they did say is that they're going to table it right now, and they like to listen to the waste representative, waste company representative. So
Was he supposed to have been there?
he probably should have been, being this was put on the table. Since he wasn't, there was a few questions I believe that they wanted to make.
Did that have to do with the increases per year that they were proposing?
It did, but there's other things that are coming into play here, and that is that we have a pretty good contract with them now, which it looks like that's going to go through. But there are some things down the road, like Lake Orion, their contract's going to expire, I believe, in August.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And so if that happens, it's possible that we could merge the two contracts in a way that we could get even a better pricing structure, and they of course can save.
Is this the Rizzi firm that's doing this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Also, they talked about rental inspection ordinance, and that was tabled also. But do you understand what the situation was there with the rentals?
Rental inspection. Apparently, whatever the proposal was, the chairman, Tony Albensi, felt it was too invasive, we'll call it.
Well, do you think?
Well, do you think? Well,
they could go into your home for any reason.
Yeah, Maureen Helmuth felt that conditions being what they are, we do need something so that renters will have some protection. Right,
and the state of Michigan would agree with that too. They're encouraging, communities to, set their own ordinances.
Yeah, I was listening.
You were? Yes. Boy, that's surprising. Okay. That being said, the attorney said that he would lighten it up a bit, that this was probably the maximum that you would expect, the community to do, and we don't want to go to the maximum, obviously, if it has infringement on individual rights. So the attorney will come back with another proposal, rewritten. Good idea, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well,
you agree with that, don't
basically, they're going to knock it down a couple of notches.
They are.
Okay.
Yes, they will. And hopefully the next run will look good.
All right.
Guess what? The Lone Ranger route for the parade is changed again.
No! Where is it going to be now?
I don't know.
What?
No, I do know. It's going to start at the north end of the Marketplace Plaza.
Marketplace Plaza is by Choo Choo Chocolates?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right.
Why would you know where Choo Choo is at?
Chocolate-covered strawberries. You crazy?
Oh, okay, right. Okay, so it's going to start there, and it's going to go down to the fire department. This is probably the third time that they've changed it. So,
well, how is it different than before? It sounds like the same one.
Yeah, but it was going to start before the plaza, but the people at the plaza complained that it was going to interrupt their business, which I can understand. You have all these floats and so forth there, how that could happen. So
parades tend to do that anyhow.
Right. And the other thing, too, is that the parade is a little smaller than what they anticipated, too.
Oh.
Not that there's not going to be interesting people on that, because there will be.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
Okay.
So this will end at the fire station, I believe is it called Church Street?
Close enough.
All right.
Okay. They did also talk about the East Alley. There would be 3 phases, and the company that would be working with it is Nowak and Frost. They're going to include a bike lane. Now, here's a project that's been out there for about 20, 25 years, from my understanding, and it's about time things got moving.
You can say East Alley, but can you tell me where it is?
Well, I don't have the map.
I know it's east.
Hey, I don't have the map on me, but they do have a map, and it's...
But what quadrant's it in?
What quadrant is it in? It's going to be near the plaza again. somewhere's in that area. Okay?
All right.
So that being said, there's a lot of preliminaries that need to be done, and first thing that needs to be done is the engineering process. The engineers will go in for surveys, they'll propose improvements that need to be made, and of course they have to deal with the storm drain system too. So all that will be put together.
Are they extending this east alley? Or are they paving it? What are they going to do
They're
to
going
it?
to pave it. They're going to connect it, pave it, and I believe they're going to put a light there too, off
Is it going,
24.
on 24, is it going to connect, what, 24 with Glassby?
Yes.
That one?
Well, no, it's not going to connect with Glassby. There's an alley back there right now.
Okay.
It's just not paved or anything. I mean,
Okay.
and it doesn't go straight through. And it's, what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it so that it is a way that they can vent traffic rather than go downtown for everything. Make it more
bypass.
convenient for, it is a bypass. You can
So it
call
will
an
go to
alley or a
Glassby?
bypass. Well, if you want to go to Glassby, you can, but it doesn't run that way.
Oh, okay.
If you want to see the rest of it, just go to the offices and they've got a map on the wall. You think you could do that?
I love maps.
I know you do. Your wife says you love them. You never use them, but you love them. Okay.
You can't imagine how many I've got
Right.
stashed.
So anyway, so they have to do other things once they get that, and that proposal was, as far as the preliminaries, was approved at the tune of about $3,000 roughly,
Okay.
and 3,600 actually. And from that point, once that comes in, the next step, they have 3 phases. One is to put crushed limestone down and do some other things, clearing and so forth. A 16 by 28, roughly to 28-foot wide road.
One of the things I would really like at these meetings is you guys are talking about east alleys and this direction and that direction. Yet, I think for the purpose of the people that are there and possibly the people on television, that they should have a projector that actually shows what they're talking about.
And it should be 3-dimensional. And it should be stereo, quad stereo. It should be, who knows? We'll be
Gosh,
back
You were a
in
tough
just
one
a
at
moment.
Christmas.
Hi, everybody. I'm Monique Maxim, your executive producer at OCTVs. And I want to remind you to keep it tuned to OCTV all summer long because we're going to be doing all the things that you love in your community. We're going to bring you the concerts in the park. We're going to be down at the Seymour Celebration. We're going to cover all those important sporting and community and children events for you. So keep it tuned to OCTV right here all summer long.
Welcome back to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols, and
I'm Dave Kenny.
we left off at the East Alley construction.
Right, which I thought was in a place that's different where it actually is.
Yeah, we had a little discussion after, during the break here. Next thing we want to talk about, though, is the 911 equipment, dispatch. They are going to have to purchase to bring their equipment up to date no later than January 1st, all of or part of their equipment, which is going to cost $80,000 to upgrade. The other question that was there, Lake
The
Orion
elephant?
Lake Orion had a representative from their police force that they were interested in knowing if we are going to go ahead, with the 911 dispatch thing. Tony Albensi made it very clear that right now it's going to cost $250,000 roughly per year, and it does.
Per year.
Per year to run the 911 Oxford dispatch. With the additional equipment, you're talking roughly $340,000 in that neighborhood, and that's not all the money yet because there will be cables and other things that are going to come up.
And
So you're talking a lot of money, and Tony made a strong effort to go to the Oxford County dispatch.
Oakland County.
I'm sorry, Oakland County. Misspoke. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Oakland County dispatch. The cost difference is substantial. Oakland County, for example, price right now would be around $30,000. But let's, for argument's sake, say that it was $50,000 per year.
It's still nickels and dimes comparing to what the 200,000 or
Right.
350,000.
A $250,000 a year, in 4 years, you've got $1 million.
That gives you some flexibility in doing other projects.
Right. But if you were Oakland County, if we take the proposed $50 or $50,000 per year, that's $200,000 a year. And
the-
multiply that times 4.
True, and the employment
The
impact
difference.
isn't that great because Oakland County has said that they would hire the 2 dispatchers that we have.
Yep. And there was some complaint too that some people were uncomfortable with using Oakland County. They wouldn't feel as safe.
Well, it's not warm and fuzzy.
Well, not warm and fuzzy, right. But let me just say that most people don't know it, but we have a contract with Oakland County. Our dispatch system does. They handle overflow, they handle other things too, when we can't cover it. And that contract, I believe, is around $20,000 in that neighborhood.
So that
per year.
$20,000 would go away and be replaced by the $35,000 one, or would it be added to it?
Well, what do you think? I'm going to ask you.
Well, you've got all the data.
Well, yeah,
The dater.
but I mean, just, it's pretty much common sense, that there is
Well-
a tremendous savings. But Sue Basardi made a motion, which was accepted because Tony's motion was turned down, 3-2. Tony and I voted, to use the Oakland County as a preference. But Sue Basardi made a motion that we turn it to election, for a vote, have the people vote.
Whether to go to Oakland County or
Mm-hmm.
whether to combine with Lake Orion.
Well, I think both issues are under consideration. It was suggested that the attorney, look into it and think it's possible for this to get on the ballot or not,
Yeah,
and how it would be worded if it was.
Yeah, the proposal to merge our dispatch with Lake Orion had some negative content to it in that we would have to hire one of the people that would be coming in from Lake Orion.
$60,000 a year.
$60,000 a year,
Yeah.
which kind of wipes out any
Well, we would-
advantage we would have from the merge.
Well, we quickly put a pencil to it, and we discovered we would be 25,000 in the hole. So that wasn't a good process. So, of course, the chief there said, well, we're open for negotiation. Duh. Well, would hope.
Well, he characterized that proposal as a starting point for negotiation.
He did.
So-
And that was a slick move on his part, because there's no way anybody was going to approve that one.
Yeah, because, the pitchforks were coming out at that point, I think.
Well, do you have anything else to say about the village council?
No.
Careful.
No, I thought it was an exciting meeting. I was
Okay.
training somebody at that meeting, and they were quite impressed.
Good. Okay. Let's go on the ZBA. Okay. And yours truly is on the new ZBA now. That's the Zoning Board of Appeals. And they did have a zoning issue. It was with Chuck Snyder. He has a complex which runs near Crawford Street, and there's an old building on that corner. All of his other buildings in that block are pretty much owned by him, except for one now.
Is this is not the building that houses Harmon Glass and Villa de Gucci, is it?
No, I'm sure it's not. It's down on the south end.
South End?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're
okay.
beautiful white buildings. He's done a great job of renovation, I gotta say. But he now has a problem with this new old building he just
Okay.
purchased, and it's on the corner of Crawford Street and 24.
Okay.
And he was requesting that he have a variance for setback of 0 setback. And of course, we told him that wasn't going to happen. Just no way.
Being on the ZBA and for our audience, can you define what a setback is?
Okay, a setback is a distance you have to be from the lot line, to the next property, or if, in this case, it's a street. And the setback is the average of all the local businesses in there and what their setbacks are. And this one would have required 20 feet in terms of setback. So he would not have been able to do a parking lot, which is what he wants to put in there. He wants 2 drives in the parking area coming off Crawford Street. And they're going to be 25 feet wide. Zoning code requires 20 feet, so he's within, within his limits there.
Okay.
The big problem was, he needs a setback change in order to do this. And there's, like I said, no way that was going to happen. So it was agreed upon that 9 feet would be more appropriate, which he did check with neighbors and so forth, and they agreed that that would not be a problem. So we did agree to do that.
Compromise
Yep.
is the milk and honey of politics.
Absolutely. And but he has to put a berm between the sidewalk area, because there's a sidewalk, there's a street, then a sidewalk, then a berm area, but a low berm to separate from his property. So it's a safety.
What's the function of that
issue.
building going to be?
He's gonna rent it for business purposes, office maybe, well,
Okay.
it's zoned office, so commercial office. So I suspect he's gonna use it for that purpose. Whatever he does, I mean, I'm impressed with his reconstruction. He's done a great job.
He usually comes very prepared to any of these
Yep.
meetings.
Oh, he was, but again, you have to go by the code requirements, and if it can be worked out, you know, with the individual asking for the request, without a lot of hassle, it's usually done quite quickly. It was then agreed upon, it was voted on, agreed that the site, or that would go through, and with the pointing out that the site plan has to be made and it has to be presented to the planning commission, and he said, I'm well aware of that. We said, great. So we'll be back in just a moment.
Hi everybody, I'm Monique Maxim, your executive producer at OCTVs. And I want to remind you to keep it tuned to OCTV all summer long because we're going to be doing all the things that you love in your community. We're going to bring you the concerts in the park. We're going to be down at the Seymour Celebration. We're going to cover all those important sporting and community and children events for you. So keep it tuned to OCTV right here all summer long.
Welcome back to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And
this
I'm
is-
Dave Kenny.
All right, glad to have you back. Where'd you go? Oh, okay. We're going to talk about North Oakland Transportation Authority, which is NOTA. And there's a big change in their territory that they're going to handle. They cover right now 448 square miles, which is an awful lot of territory.
That goes east to
Yes.
how far? Almost to Macomb County, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It goes up to the border pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And also this way it goes to the other Oakland border. But they're all over, you know, and they've had monetary cuts in their grant money and so forth, so they really have to do something. It's very expensive for them to go out of those areas for one or two people.
And a lot of those locations that they go to are down dirt roads, which they say is detrimental to their equipment.
Well, it's
Big
tearing
wear
the
and
equipment
tear.
up, yes. And not to mention the gas that they have to use or the fuel.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to cut from 448 down to 223 square miles, so it's pretty much in half, as you said. And they are to notify, though, all the residents involved here by October 1st that they will no longer service that area. That gives them time enough, the people that ride, to find another option, you know, to get where they need to go.
But there's no public provided option.
There's not going to be one from NOTA, that's for sure.
Okay.
So if you have free time on your hands, what's your phone number?
Don't do that. You did that last time.
I know I did. Okay, well, that's NOTA. Do you have any other statements on NOTA?
Nota? No.
No, okay. Let's talk about Pollyann Trail rather
okay.
quickly. Management, Ed Brakefield is the chair for that, and they went through things rather rapidly. It was held at the Addison Township Hall. They went through the bill list, which was $40,000, and they said that their ending assets were labeled at $85,000. So they talked about the financial end of it. Then they gave out a rather pleasant thing, citations for people, award citations, for people that have put in effort to cut these trees and pull them off the Pollyann, and you know, just keep it sharp, you know.
Right.
And those people were Fred Ashley, Buck Kreiderman,
Our own Buck Kreiderman.
our own Buck Kreiderman, who's on the Communications Commission, and of course Bruce Pearson, who's very active. And Bruce has said, you know, if you ever need anybody, you know, to clean up after a storm, just call him. He will make sure that that trail is clean. So he has the people that can do it.
Yeah, being the supervisor of Addison Township, he has a little leverage.
Right, he does do that, yeah. And he's a no-nonsense guy. I mean, he just will make sure it's done.
Did this meeting cover the departure of the previous manager?
They did briefly, just to the point that they stipulated that the keys were turned in, and so that the old manager is gone. There were 3 people there that were ready for an interview, but they really are not prepared to do an interview because they need to look over the job description again and modify it to some degree. Once that's done, then they'll be prepared, you know, to talk to each individual.
However, I hear they did appoint an interim manager. Golden, is that her name?
Yes,
Okay.
and she's agreed to do it temporarily.
She previously was a manager of the
Mhm.
Pollyant Trail.
Right. And you really do need somebody like that, you know, just to carry it through. They talked quickly about nonprofit designations, like the 501c3, and some conflict compared to the 990 form that they have for other donations. And they were talking if they were to eliminate the 501c3, that it pose other hardships, you know.
Are they a 501c3 right now?
They are.
Okay.
And they talked about changing the audit, the physical. Their fiscal year is going to be changed. So that will be, through the nature of the fiscal change, they're going to have some cost savings through their accounting process. So that being said, guess what the last one is we're going to talk about?
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Communications Commission. And what happened there, do you know?
Well, our previous manager, Ken LaPlace, was terminated. And Bill Service, who works here, stepped forward and is now our interim station manager.
Yeah, and you know, Bill has got a great background too, you know, for this particular job.
That's right.
Yeah.
50 years of television and what have you. He managed a Disney station, I understand, at
Couple
one
of them,
time.
actually.
So he brings a lot to the table.
Yep, very much a people person. Everybody in the community knows Bill. So if you see Bill, congratulate him. He's working about 10 times harder, which is all right with us here at the studio, right?
I think he's feeding his dog right now.
No, he doesn't have his dog anymore.
Oh, he doesn't?
Oh, don't mention that to Bill. Okay?
Sure.
He feels bad about it yet. Okay?
What did he do?
The dog, what did the dog do? He
He up and died?
passed away.
He up and died?
He did what dogs do when they get to be old. Okay, what's coming up next on the schedule?
Oh, there's, I looked at our schedule, and for next week, there's pretty much squat. But on 8/5,
What's
the
with
Addison, there's just not a lot of activity going on next week. On 8/5 at 7:30, the Addison Township Park Committee meets, and on 8/6, the Village of Oxford Planning Commission. And that's all she wrote.
That's all you got?
That's all I got.
Well, can you make up some things that people might want to go to?
Sure. On August 3rd
No.
is the downtown, is the Celebrate Oxford. And don't forget the Lone Ranger Parade.
The Lone Angel?
The Lone Ranger. Lone,
He
the
might
Lone
be.
Ranger Parade, which we've defined as starting at the marketplace and going down to the fire station.
Well, I think if the Lone Ranger, if he pulls this one off, he'll be the Lone Angel. he's got a long road to haul.
Who
there.
was that masked angel?
Actually, did you go to the premiere?
Yes, I did.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, I actually saw the back page of the Orion Review, and it showed me and my lovely wife walking down the red carpet as true celebrities.
How did that happen?
It was the only thing that could.
Oh, okay. I see.
Not
okay.
that I have a
Okay, well, I understand
big
that.
ego.
You know, a couple of other things I'd like to say is that there are going to be a number of changes at the studio here, which I think are going to be some good things. And I think others will agree. There's going to be, some of the old equipment is going to disappear, and we're going to have new equipment, is my understanding, down the line, which will update us. We should be second to none in terms of a
True.
studio.
True. Right now, we have probably the best editing equipment you can get your hands on.
Yep.
But there are other pieces of equipment here at the studio that probably need updating. They may work, but they don't work as good as newer equipment could, or be as flexible as that new equipment.
They used to work really good until you got them, but hey, until then.
That only means I worked them to death.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay, I got it. Okay. Is there anything else you want to say about the Communications Commission at all, or any of the other meetings that we've covered?
No. I think we've covered it, and we'll just hang on tenterhooks until the next time we meet again.
Tender hooks.
Tenterhooks.
Tenterhooks. What's a tenterhook?
You never heard that term before?
I never did.
Oh, Lord.
What is it? Tell us more. You don't want to tell us more.
I don't want to tell you more if you don't know what a tenterhook is.
You don't. All right. With that, we're going to leave you. Thank goodness. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
Next time, we'll catch you at Minutes by Minute.
President Roosevelt signed the Bill of Rights.
I've always appreciated the American Legion's
My gratitude to the American
Thank
Legion.
you all to the American Legion.
We have millions of veterans that are members of our organization. Thank you.
The American Legion. We serve America and its veterans. We pledge ourselves to our veterans, our youth, a strong national defense, and Americanism. These 4 pillars shape our work and what we do for America. There is power in our numbers. We're the largest organization of wartime veterans in the nation. We are 2.5 million members strong, men and women from every state in the nation and around the world. No other veterans organization wields this kind of power. We work relentlessly within our 4 pillars of service, and we succeed. The American Legion takes care of our fellow veterans and their families. We maintain close ties with Congress and the leaders in Washington, D.C. They respect us. They listen to us. We sponsor research and press for medical care and benefits for all veterans and active duty service members, whether they are members of the American Legion or not.
President Roosevelt signs G.I. Joe's Bill of Rights.
You've heard of the GI Bill of Rights, one of the most important pieces of social legislation of the 20th century. It was written and passed largely through the efforts of the American Legion. We were instrumental in the formation of what is now the Department of Veterans Affairs to make sure our veterans get the care and benefits they are promised and deserve. The young people of our nation are our future. They benefit from exceptional programs and generous scholarships that only the American Legion offers. We provide athletic programs like American Legion Junior Shooting Sports, Legion Baseball, and educational and civics programs like the Oratorical Scholarship Contest, and Boys State and Boys Nation.
As Supreme Court Justice Hugo Black stated, the quality of justice that Americans receive should not depend upon the amount of money they have.
We promote citizenship and an appreciation of government. We have all been directly involved in our nation's defense as wartime veterans. We know what policies, tools, and manpower our military needs to protect this great country. We fight to get these things done.
We're all very grateful to have the American Legion on point.
We take our case all the way to the top in Washington, D.C. to ensure that America is prepared for any threat. We are patriots through and through. We believe in our flag and all that it stands for. Our Constitution, our Pledge of Allegiance, our way of life are all fundamental to maintaining our freedom and the standing that we have as the greatest country on earth. We promote and defend these values every day in communities across the nation. These pillars represent not just what we do, but who we are. We're here to serve our fellow veterans, their families, and all of America. We are here for them. We are here for you. The American Legion asks you to join us in our mission. If you share our vision and commitment to America, visit our website at legion.org or your nearest American Legion post today.